Good, Never? I met with the Transportation Committee regarding a major problem I had with the Department of the Division of Transportation on the frontage of my property. Without discussing this matter with me, they completed an ugly stormwater retention ditch directly in front of my property. Even though I attended all the meetings, I had one simple question: what are your plans that apply to the property? They told me it's just a 6-foot extension in front of my property, the roadway. I now have a 6-foot ditch, about 100 to 200 feet long. Buried underneath it is concrete pipes, 48 inches in diameter. My home is the oldest on Walkup Road. It was built in 1886. For 124 years, there has never been any water runoff problem. From my plea for help, I got no assistance from the committee. The board members said they could obtain a county permit so that I could, at my expense, make the east side of the ditch easier to mow. This side is almost straight up in some places. The other citizens on Walkup Road who were also misinformed. One citizen was told that they would take only 4 of his trees. They took 12. There are many other examples. I want solutions to these problems so that other citizens will not suffer the experience I have gone through. My solutions are as follows. First, when this project continues to Bull Valley Road this spring, I want the DOT to relocate their ditch to at least 100 feet north of my property. Take dirt from that project and fill in the space in front of my house. The next house north of me is almost a half mile away, so there should be plenty of room. I want the members of the board's Transportation Committee to meet with each homeowner affected by the Walkup Road project and obtain views on their treatment by DOT and help those with legitimate complaints. I want the board to initiate an investigation into why the DOT is not more upfront with citizens of McHenry County when starting these so-called road improvement projects. I want a written apology from DOT for the way my wife and I were so treated. Under the Freedom of Information Act, I want the board to direct DOT to provide me the name, address, and telephone number of the federal employee contact they dealt with for the funding of the Walkup Road project. I also want a list of all roadway improvement projects completed in the last 2 years, currently ongoing, and planned for the next 5 years. I want this document I'm reading from a part of this meeting, today's meeting. I think it is time for DOT to be more open to the citizens and to be more cognizant of how these projects affect the well-being of county citizens. I don't think that's taking place right now. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Thank you. Just give that to her.
They continue to come to transportation. I don't know who the transportation representative from District 3 is now. It's Mr. Provenzano. Then I would like, Mr. Stevens to get a hold of Mr. Provenzano and continue this because he has a very serious issue and he's not going to finish until he feels like he has been satisfied. Having said that, your last few sentences is actually a bit, very encouraging. And as we move forward, how can we communicate and act differently as government to provide as much information and education and possible options to what might be what we may think is the best solution in transportation. So I'm very encouraged to hear you say that because we have some large road projects coming up ahead that I think we can do things differently and be more transparent to the public. Okay, thank you. I have a couple more questions. One is, did the Valley High Christmas Stevens
get the items he requested? And there was a list of items that he requested in his letter. I would hope that the committee will see to it that it gets responded to.
Well, we're going to respond to it since I said I didn't hear all of them. I heard some of them, and I don't know if what Ms. Wheeler is keeps referring to is asking if we're going to change the scope of the project now. Would that be brought up for discussion again? Would we be interested in that? It certainly could be. And then if Mr. Provenzano chooses to bring that forward as representative from that district. And again, the other things that he asked for, Ms. Schuster, I will be looking at and we'll be doing our best.
Okay, I would hope so, because it's so frustrating for our public that they keep asking for things and they feel like they're being shortchanged. And I just don't want to see that happen.
And I don't know what he asked for, so
Right.
not committing to everything, I have to see.
Yeah, okay. Engineering and the plans, when the transportation department has these scheduled meetings where they're talking about the different projects, I think it's really vitally important that some of this information be taken away from the engineering perspective and brought down to the average person's way of looking at the project, and so they can get a better understanding of what all that engineering means, because it's a bunch of gobbledygook for most people. So I would hope that there would be an effort made during those hearings, to make sure that that is a primary purpose of the hearing, just to make it so that people will understand. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ashburn.
I would like to welcome new members to this. Is that we don't have or have not maybe implemented context-sensitive solution approach or context-sensitive design approach to a level where we are comfortable talking to a group of stakeholders about the issue. We haven't necessarily formed committees that a small group of people who then communicate with other people along the road. I think that it would be beneficial for all of us to hear a presentation on context-sensitive solution by someone who has facilitated such programs. We tend to have these public meetings and they're fine, but they don't always communicate effectively. As Ms. Schuster pointed out, they tend to be engineering for part of the plan. And what I noticed in talking to a couple of people from Fleming Road, the information seems to be flowing from the engineers who are out on the road doing some of the phase one information. And that's not an effective way to communicate with people, because we get different levels of information and different pieces of information. So I would like to see us start out the new year with maybe some training on context-sensitive solution for transportation and all of our members, so we can implement it more effectively.
Thank you.
Sometimes it's difficult for lay people to really conceptualize the plan on transportation issues, and I agree with her. I think we need to create an approach where people can really visualize some of those plans from an architectural, engineering, design format to a place where they could really see it. I agree with Ursula that sometimes we use a lot of engineering jargon, and it sometimes does not translate to the people that are being directly affected by the project. And so, you know, I hear what everyone's saying, and I believe that the people on the transportation committee is very open. Anime is certainly very open. And so I really appreciate the feedback, but I agree with some of the comments. Thank you.
Thank you.